After briefly dumping to the upside above 41,000 US dollars, Bitcoin bears immediately grabbed their crusty towels to wipe the tears from their eyes to hit the buy orders with their sticky keyboard fingers. And although Bitcoin has not yet gotten a significant backtest of this so far 33% to the upside move, you absolutely must expect a downside backtest at some point soon. They say technical analysis is just astrology for men, but excuse me, did you just assume my gender? I'm your host, Sammy Switcheroo, and on this channel we take the fun out of fundamentals and put the dump in dumpy alerts. Absolutely wild. So today we had a absolutely mega move to the upside, topping out a little bit above 41,000 US dollars with no signs thus far of a backtest, especially on this 1 hour chart. We've just been testing the same exact two key moving averages over and over and over again. But the big question is, will Bitcoin be able to breach 42,000? Will we actually catapult all the way up to 48,000 before any sign of a dumpy backtest? Because guys, keep in mind, I personally think there will be a move to the downside to cement this support fairly soon. And I think it's going to shake a lot of people out. And unfortunately, I don't think that should be the case. So you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on the absolutely time-sensitive alerts. And without any further magoo, let's dump on it. So over the last few hours, Bitcoin has absolutely catapulted to about 41,300 US dollars. However, it has also broken below 40,000, and that's where we currently are. As you can see on this 1 hour chart, it was battling and just staying right above this 21 moving average on the 6 hour chart for a long time. However, now we are pulling back to that 50 for the first time since this mega move really started today. So for the first time since June 13th, this is the very first time on the hourly chart that we're testing this key moving average. We got this bullish cross, and it really did initiate a pretty mega move from about 36,000. I guess let's go from the lows of about 34.6 all the way up to about 41,000. So about a 20% swing in the last 2 days. But the question is, guys, as I personally expect, I do think we are going to be getting a backtest, and that's not a bad thing. In fact, as I've been saying, the last 2 or 3 days, every single video, the backtest confirmation and then breakout bust out is exactly what we need to actually confirm a bullish move. So far we've gotten a bullish move, but you know, the question, is it a real breakout or a fake out, I think cannot be answered until we actually get a backtest and then verify to validate if that's actually going to hold, so we can push on to those higher levels, concretely break 42,000, and obviously 48,000 is that massive number everyone's been talking about. Again, by 48,000, I think a lot of short positions will have been absolutely scooched and mooched, absolutely obliterated. So that's something I think a lot of people are waiting for in anticipation. But on the short-term time frame, this is a pretty big test. I mean, 40,000 itself is also pretty big. So that, again, is a level that is something important to watch in terms of a backtest. And you can see that here as well on the 6 hour chart. Clearly, guys, what we're doing right now is kind of just testing to see if we can hold this as support, which again, in my opinion, I personally am expecting more of a backtest of these lower levels down to the mid, even $36,000 range. So a couple $1,000s lower than we currently are over the next day or two. Again, time frame is really hard to tell. I really am not completely convinced it'll happen today. It could be tomorrow, it could be the next day, but I personally just think that it is very likely that we are going to get at least a backtest to, in my opinion, at least 37,000, potentially a little bit lower than that, before, you know, if we hold that, confirming that, and then blasting back up, that would be, again, like I've been saying, just an absolute ultimate confirmation that, yes, okay, let's attempt 48,000, potentially $50,000 plus over the next couple of days after we would get a backtest confirmation. And as well, if we go to the 4 hour chart, you can see this absolutely critical fettuccine level is where we've kind of topped out so far. It's right underneath 42,000, which is right about where we've topped out. So after we initially went to 29, 30,000, we bounced all the way back up pretty much to this exact fettuccine level. And then we obviously got rejected there, went back down, set a higher low, went all the way back up almost again to that same fettuccine level, and then down, found support at the next fib level, then got caught within this golden pocket or golden retrace level right about here. And now we're testing that same level again that we initially bounced to after the May 19th reaction bounce. So even though I'm expecting a backtest, and even though 42,000 is a huge level, 48,000 is a huge level, where we at right now is just absolutely big as well. I mean, 40,000 itself is huge, and that's literally what we're trying to cement right now. I personally think that we probably will go below 40,000, I mean, we are right now, but I personally think that we'll probably keep going below it maybe multiple times over the next few days as we really battle the overhead resistance. But overall, I'm still convinced that we did find the bottom, like I've been saying since here back on the day of May 19th. Overall, I still believe that's 100% a confirmed bottom. But again, the recovery is not going to be easy, and we still have a lot of challenges on the way up. It's not, let's say that this exactly was the bottom on May 19th. And from here on out, over the next few months, we're going to be surpassing 6 digits per Bitcoin. Even if that is the case, right, in one of the most bullish scenarios, that doesn't mean that it's going to be quick, and it doesn't mean that it's going to just be a straight shot there. If anything, guys, most charts look like this. It's up and down all the time. And if you're watching a chart throughout the day, for the most part, you get a sense of when the run's over. You get a sense when a short-term, maybe hourly pump is over. Currently, we're in that retracement. Right now, like if we would have to judge momentum, currently, it's not to the upside. Currently, the momentum is to the downside, and the bulls are trying to defend it. So that's exactly what's happening as I'm recording. But that can switch again at the drop of a hat. Why do I think 36 to 37 is going to be a big backtest area? Again, for the most part, it was literally the center of where we've been trading for the past month. It's the point of control on this VPVR volume on the daily chart. It is where the 21 daily moving average is. And it's just a gigantic horizontal level of resistance. So that's like 4 major reasons right there. So again, if we do get this pullback over the next couple of days, and if we end up holding here, again, even if we would wick down to something like 35 or something, it doesn't invalidate it. We could wick down there and ultimately come back here and get a daily close or multiple days just trading right in this range and then bounce up. Ultimately, I think that's just an amazingly bullish scenario. Now, could we just hold here at 40K and then shoot up to 42, maybe even 46 or 48,000? Absolutely. But the reason I'm covering this is because I want people to be prepared and expect a very likely and reasonable and also bullish scenario. Because again, if we did get a pullback down to here, you guys know the sentiment would be screaming, see, I told you it was a dead cat bounce. See, I told you Bitcoin's in a massive bear market. See, I told you Bitcoin's going to 20K. And lo and behold, a couple of days could pass after that and we bounce up. So I'm just trying to give you, I guess, my opinion, what I think is a very likely important thing to watch out for, because just because we get a swing down does not mean that this entire move so far from, I mean, let's just take it from the beginning, I guess, from about 28 on this chart, 28,000 to 41, again, a 44% bounce so far, almost a 50% recovery so far in the last month. Just because we might get another drop doesn't mean that that entire 44% bounce recovery is invalidated. In fact, the exact opposite. This near month-long descending channel, ultimately, which I think everyone's agreed on at this point, this is probably what this pattern was. Ultimately, again, getting a backtest of that is not bad at all. In fact, it's very common and rational and something you should be expecting. And as well, Bitcoin dominance absolutely dumping to the upside as well. Currently about almost 46%. It was earlier today at 46% dominance. And again, very good sign for confirming a bottom for Bitcoin. And guys, take a look at this. Where was the bottom so far of Bitcoin dominance? Literally the exact day, May 19th. Okay, on May 19th, we saw Bitcoin dominance shoot all the way up from, what is this, 40% all the way up to about 46% in a single day. Actually, 39% to 46% in a single day. Absolutely very, very big. And if that truly was the bottom, then again, this absolutely lines up with that perfectly. And the fact that we're still recovering here and seeing Bitcoin dominance rise, again, I mean, that's what you would expect on a Bitcoin bottom recovery. And as well on the weekly charts, overall, pretty good signs. The most obvious, I think everybody also is aware of this, the 21 weekly moving average is just an absolutely very important bull market indicator. I mean, we've been below it, which again, at this point, when we did drop below it on May 19th, actually a little bit before that, when we dropped below this, a lot of people automatically said, well, we have to be in a bear market because we're below the 21 week, which again is not necessarily the case. However, to the upside, I think that most of the people that are still bearish, most of the people that are still holding out, I think that the final thing that they're really waiting for is this, breaking 48,000 and then sustaining that. Because most likely, whenever we do come back up to this, we're not going to immediately breach through it and then stay above it from there on out. Most likely, when we do approach it, we probably will get a rejection before ultimately getting above it, if that is actually what happens. Okay, rejections at these big levels are pretty much, I mean, they're not guaranteed, but they're very close to guaranteed. We get rejections all the time on shorter time frames. Looking back in retrospect, it'll probably not look like that because it happens so quickly, but when you're living through it day to day, it tends to seem like an eternity. But I mean, a couple of days in crypto feels like forever, but it's really not that long. But again, really 40K right here is where we're at. 48 is the next massive level. And then after that, I mean, on to new all-time highs are actually right around 60K. That's another big, gigantic fib level. Even though we got all the way up to about almost 65,000 at the all-time highs so far, for the most part, I mean, look exactly where Bitcoin traded for, I think it was exactly 3 months. Let's just measure it. Yeah, 91 days almost. So pretty much 3 months, it traded exactly at 60,000 or 58,000, right in that area. And that is a gigantic Fibonacci level. And the thing exciting about that as well is that after this fib level is broken, there's no massive fib levels or fib resistance until 6 digits per Bitcoin. So the way I look at it, whether it takes another week, another 2 months, whenever Bitcoin gets the juice to break above 48, flip the 21 week and keep going up, and then whenever it gets the juice to actually break all-time highs, I personally think very quickly after Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, it is going to be going to 6 digits. And then once Bitcoin is or breaks 6 digits for the first time in history, I think then altcoins will have their little heyday, right? I think altcoins will have a nice move. But for now, I personally think, again, obviously when Bitcoin recovers, altcoins are going to suffer a little bit because Bitcoin still, maybe this will change in the future, but Bitcoin leads the entire market. Always has, and it still does. But will it forever? Nobody knows. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, these absolutely time-sensitive alerts. Make sure to get your hardware wallets and bonuses in the description and comments below. And without any further ado, that's it for me. Bye-bye.